Hey folks, and welcome to another episode of Crypto Marketing Insights. I'm back after a couple of days away, and I just wanted to give you guys some interesting updates. Before we get into this, just to remind you all, this is a show about marketing and the impact of marketing on crypto and blockchain, and the impact of blockchain and crypto on marketing. The show is for marketers, so if you're into marketing, crypto, or blockchain, you're on the right channel. If you're looking for TA or some other kind of financial advice or something like that, you're definitely in the wrong place, because I don't do that here. There's lots of great YouTubers out there that you can watch for that kind of stuff. I do talk a lot about what happens in the market, and it's things to do with the market and prices and everything else, but not from a trading or investing point of view. Um, you know, uh, I'm looking at it from marketing. But anyway, so here we go. Today we're starting off with this cute little meme I saw on the Imgur, links down below, of the anatomy of a Bitcoin bull run. Right, and the back end is the half racehorse, the front end is the half mountain gorilla, and at the bottom there of his chin, you see the Viking goatee. I think it's kind of funny, and it just kind of gives me this warm feeling as a marketer that we're seeing lots of memes happening that are showing Bitcoin in a positive, growing way. Of course, we're seeing, we saw stuff like the 60 Minutes TV show last weekend with Anderson Cooper, basically doing a fairly positive spin, or at least not a negative spin on Bitcoin, which is unusual, right? Those of us who've been in Bitcoin for years know that it's just always been the whipping boy, But now that this Bitcoin bull run is, or this accumulation period, or whatever you want to call it, period, is apparently underway, and you're seeing the big institutions have already bought big bags and they're getting primed for sales and all that stuff. You're seeing more marketing efforts like, the Drop Gold ad campaign and everything else. So we're seeing positive media. We're seeing things that were not available during the last bear market, and we're seeing things that we've never seen before, right? Because now that the big money is getting into the game, right? Last time they really weren't in the game. Now they're really getting into it, or they got into it during the previous bear market, and they're ready for prime time, or they're getting ready for it. And you're going to see a lot more stuff that we've never seen before, or stuff we've seen before but never on such a big scale. Right? And it's just going to keep getting bigger as long as crypto keeps growing. And so far, the indications are that it is. I recently saw, there's lots of, it's amazing to me, the people that are building businesses right now that are ignoring the potential of using crypto or blockchain, who are just like, yeah, whatever, we'll use it when it gets back to all-time highs, or we'll make it available, or we'll do something with it when Bitcoin gets back to all-time highs, or Ethereum, or whatever. It's kind of crazy to think that way when you realize the scarcity of, let's say, Bitcoin, right? And that, we all know there isn't enough for every millionaire to own one Bitcoin. Yeah, we know. But the point is it's scarce, right? At least Bitcoin is, and some others. A project that I market and that I talk about openly on this channel, right, is Ethlite, right? Ethlite actually has a new wallet app right now. So they're a business that's leaping forward into the whole space, right? They're not staying behind. And in fact, Ethlite recently released their wallet app and this little video. In order to get this wallet app out. Here we go. I guess I could rewind it or something. If this video screen will ever load. Let's see if it loads. I don't know what's going on with the YouTube, but here we go. Hopefully we won't get a copyright strike on a video of a product on marketing. But if we do, well, I'll have to talk to the video owner. Yeah. Boy, internet. You were very slow today. Do not know what's going on, but definitely bandwidth issues. Anyway, there's a link to this video. I would not I'm not going to slow you guys down with that. But the point is, there are apps like this coming out. The Ethlite wallet is an amazing app. You can see it right there. Just go to ethlite.tech/wallet. You can grab the wallet. It's on Android right now, and they're adding iOS. What's great about the Ethlite wallet is it actually lets you buy, sell, and even whatever exchange. So you can send, receive to the wallet. You can send to the wallet. You can send from the wallet to any other address. You can hold Bitcoin, Ethereum. You can even, you can even hold Litecoin. You can hold BNB. You can hold stable coins like USDC, TUSD, or True USD, not Tether. They don't touch that. But it's got a bunch of coins. They're adding more coins. I think there's already over more than 10 or 11 coins. Paxos, if you use Pax as your stable coin, also on there. The Ethlite T token, obviously, or Ethlite T, that's ETLYTET, right? Ethlite T, that's the official token of the Ethlite crypto project. Of course, you can hold that on the wallet. So, check out that wallet. It's really, look, I've tried a lot of wallets and hardware wallets, and I love, hardware wallets for the big hodls or whatever, the big bags you have. That makes sense. You want to have that in cold storage. But when you need fast access to your crypto, so you don't want to keep all your money on a hot wallet or a software wallet, but if you keep a small percentage on there that you might need for day-to-day use, it's frankly a lot easier than keeping it all on a hardware wallet and then moving it from there off of the hardware wallet to wherever you need to use it, right? Because you don't necessarily want to walk around with your wallet that has all of your big bag on it, right? That would be potentially very bad. So, because if you lose your hardware wallet with all the big stuff on it, that's a problem. You want to keep that one secure and basically not use it very much at all when you don't absolutely need to. But when you do need to, then you want to make sure that you have access to it unfettered. But in the meantime, when you have your day-to-day sort of routine expenses and things that you need access to your crypto for in a day-to-day kind of way, there's a lot of choices out there to choose from. The reason that I like the Ethlite one, aside from the fact that I obviously market it, so call me shilling. I'm not shilling. I'm marketing it. The reason that I like it is actually because Ethlite itself, the whole project, is based on delivering these kind of world-class financial services, starting with the wallet, but certainly not ending there, going into gift cards, debit cards, P2P loans, insurance services, adjustment services, audit services, whatever you need, financial services that you would, let's say, traditionally get from a bank or another kind of financial institution or a financial, insurance company or anything like that. You don't need all that, right? With Ethlite, it's all built into the token. It's all built into the smart contract. It's all built into the products they sell. You have that ability to, essentially have a very rare token, because there's only 10 million of them max. The ability to have a very rare token that's aimed at delivering these world-class services specifically to people in Africa, in Asia, in South America, in countries where there is less than optimal financial services as an industry and as institutions, right? So why is that an interesting project to me? Well, it's an interesting project to me, as I've said many times before, because I believe that the 2.1 plus billion humans who don't have access to these financial products, that the rest of us, in the top 1% of the world, we kind of take it for granted, right? Or maybe we're not in the top 1%, but, well, if you live in the US, you are, but pretty much. But if you live even in most of Europe, there's a good chance you're in the very high percentages of the world economy, vis-a-vis other human beings, all told. Of course, wealth is all relative, so it depends where you are and what your context is. But my point is, if you live in Europe or the U.S. or many parts of the world, frankly, the Middle East, there's a good chance you have decent banking services available to you, right? They might not be great, but they're at least available. You've got credit cards, you got debit cards, you got whatever you need to get along with your context, at least as long as your local fiat currency is still worth more than the paper it's printed on. But if you're like one of billions of people around the world who aren't that fortunate to have those kind of services available, well, then guess what? You're SOL. You don't have those things. You can't actually go and buy the products that I'm trying to market to you, right? Because you don't have access to any traditional way to bank with traditional money systems and payment systems. Like, you can't go out and buy the concert tickets I want you to buy next week to go see Khalid or whatever. You can't go buy tickets to Louis Capaldi. You can't go buy tickets to see your favorite football team or soccer team or basketball team or whatever you have, because you don't have access to traditional things. So even if you somehow gathered up money in your local little village or something, and you kept it safe under your rock or mattress or wherever, you don't have a bank to keep it in, so it makes it hard for you to actually use that money to like send it to people around the world that you might want to buy stuff from, right? Maybe you want to take a visit to some foreign country and you're from some third world country, and maybe you even have a successful business and you got a decent chunk of capital, but you're like literally hiding in your mattresses. How are you going to travel? You can't just leave your money unguarded, and then all these problems arise, right? When you don't have banking, traditional banking. That's why traditional banking has been so successful for so long, right? It's not because people love banking that there's banks. It's because we need a way that's safe and secure and reliable, relatively, in order to use, move, store, whatever, our money and our other assets. And the beauty of things like Ethlite is we get rid of that entire layer of need. There is no need to have a bank when you have Ethlite. There is no need to. You can literally have debit cards. Those are coming out, I think, next. Debit cards and gift cards, without having a bank account. And you go to the store and you spend your money from your debit card. You don't have a bank account. Your money literally sits in your Ethlite wallet, right? And you just pay it straight up. It just converts automatically Ethlite to currency, right? Just like there's other cryptos that have similar things. If you live in America, you can probably get any number of cards you might already know of that have that kind of feature. Well, in Africa, they don't really have that very much. It's very hard to obtain. And there is no project like Ethlite that's built specifically for that kind of situation in those particular places where people are less likely to have traditional access to banking. Right? You might have heard of M-Pesa in Kenya and all these other things where people are using their mobile phones to send traditional money, and they're getting into crypto and Bitcoin. They're letting agents resell, kind of like local Bitcoins, but with a sort of trusted agent as a middleman, or a certified agent or something. So it's a little bit safer, maybe some people say, than local Bitcoins. Yeah, but there's high premiums on that crypto because it's going through a big branded thing that has not quite independent. They're independent agents. Right, but the M-Pesa thing is kind of like a franchise, McDonald's franchise thing. With Ethlite, it's not a franchise; it's a cryptocurrency. You just get into, you get your stack or you get however much Ethlite you want, and the products and services that they're building, like the gift cards and everything else. That you won't need any bank account for that. Now I say you won't need because, of course, it's still future deliverables. But if you actually look at the Ethlite roadmap. They're actually one of the few cryptos that has actually stuck to their roadmap. And that's actually significant. People really undervalue the significance of that. What we see on a lot of crypto projects is that they basically start their roadmap, they write their white paper, they get the website out the door, and then they kind of just trail it off, only focusing on gathering money and not actually building the product. And you see that time and again. I'm not going to go over every single product that is unfinished, but if you just look at the front page of any of the coin indexes, Coin Paprika, Coin Market Cap, Coin Effect, whatever, most of the projects have no working product at all. Right? Let alone the stuff they promise at the end of their roadmap. Obviously, they're not there yet, most of them. Pretty much all of them. So Yeah, Ethelite actually has stuck to the roadmap and is on course, which is a very important thing, and I think it's worthy of mention. I'm just gonna see if I can play this video again for a second, just out of curiosity. It doesn't really matter if you see it or not, I don't think, but you can all just click to the link and see it if you want to see the video. Let's see, does this work? No. Damn you, YouTube! You make a meme of myself, anyway, or of my ad. Well, whatever. Just go check out the ad. It's kind of fun. And it just talks about, it's a promo for the wallet. Hopefully your internet connection is better than where I'm at today. But I had to get this out. I wanted to mention this to you guys. And also, I wanted to talk about something entirely different. Right now, we're all familiar with what's going on in the market, I hope. From a transactional point of view, we look at the price action, essentially. You can see there was big finger going up yesterday. It was about, 12, 15 hours ago. Maybe more. Yeah, more like 15, 12, 15, 18 hours ago, something like that. Basically, the price went up from around 8K to around 8,800, almost 9,000, but around 8,800, and came back down a little bit, and it's sitting around 8,740. It's sitting right around between the 88s and the 87, 88 in that zone. And it's not a surprise. People were expecting this. Market observers, CA people, they all talked about this big wedge that was apparently somewhere here in the, around right before where the candle happened. And that wasn't a surprise. The question was it going to go up or down? My question is, are you kidding me? Of course, it doesn't matter if it goes up or down. Like, as a marketer, the market is going up. Even if the price goes down, the interest in crypto is gaining, not dropping. You saw that in all the crazy wild stuff we saw in consensus. You see it more and more in the different projects being pushed on various platforms. Like if you look at just YouTube, right, because we're here. So just in YouTube, we have this whole situation where we've got basically a lot of people who've been saying for months now, buy, and some crazy bears have been saying, no, this isn't over. They're not crazy bears. They're just bears. They had a different opinion than me. Who said, no, we're not done going down yet, and don't buy yet until we're assured of a better reward, et cetera, et cetera. I think trying to time the bottom is the biggest mistake you can make, and trying to time the top is the same biggest mistake you can make when it comes to trading on markets. And I say that as a marketer. Like, if you're trying to push your product only at the point where you think the market has officially bottomed, but you've actually missed the bottom by a few months, as a marketer, you've missed the boat on your returns, your future returns, right? You can still get in, and you can still make a boatload. But you're going to lose a few X already. You've already lost a few X, right? When it was down at 3,200, now it's at 8,700. It's almost 3X the price. Come on, what are you waiting for as a marketer, right? Again, definitely not financial advice. Marketing advice, though, if you're not pushing your crypto or blockchain at this point, you're missing the beginning stages, and these are the most important stages of the bull run. Because this is where you get your gains, by planting the seed early, by grabbing your bag, right? And if you've already missed it from 3,000 to 8,000 on the price points, damn, like you should have at least been, budget spend averaging, BSA, right? Not dollar cost averaging, but it's kind of the same thing as how much you're investing of your budget into crypto marketing during the past few months. I mean, at the very least, since December, you should have been, when it crashed, that's when you should have started. That was the big red light. And I did pieces about that. I did videos about that saying, guys, turn your marketing on now. Right? This is the bottom. Don't go all in 100% when it's crazy low, but buy, fill your bags with what you can in terms of your marketing spend, in terms of your budgeting for your marketing. Make sure your campaigns are fully loaded with budgeting resources that you can spend on, whether it's AdWords or Instagram or whatever, your email, doesn't matter. Whatever you're buying in terms of leads, traffic, revenue generators, that was the time to start loading up on those kind of reserves and making sure that you were ready so that you could start pushing it out already. And now that the bull market is here, you're not behind the pack. If you haven't started yet, you are now in a catch-up mode. against competitors who've been actively pushing the whole bear market, and they've been waiting for this and working towards it. And if you haven't been, you're not in a good way, and you need to start fast. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, that means you got to start fast. That's what that means. Now, I wanted to address something real quick. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it, but I have to mention it. The last few days, we've been seeing a lot of people, especially big advertisers and well-heeled crypto influencers, big investors and the like, big players, who are getting involved or already involved in essentially questionable projects. Okay, I'm not going to get into it too much, except to say, all right, for example, if you watch any of the leading crypto YouTubers out there right now, and they're all, you know who they are. If you just look at the last few days of videos, you'll see the big names who've all been kind of engaged in a YouTuber spat. There's like one side that says you guys are all, fanboys of Binance and you're doing shady stuff with CZ and helping him pump his IEOs, and the other side is saying no, we're just YouTube channels independently making videos, and yeah, we get paid by some and not by others, and we, there's claims left and right over who's taking money without declaring it, as et cetera, et cetera. And there's also shilling of projects that have serious problems, right? And there's also ongoing behavior by supposed crypto authoritative kind of people without any penalty, with impunity, when they do something as glaringly bad as offend more than half the people on Earth, right? So those kind of things, right, where we have big influencers making these kind of outrageous statements and getting away with it, and not only that, getting praise heaped upon them more and more, even when the news about it is out, right? Just because the news comes from a small outlet or an independent publisher or a single YouTuber, and nobody pays attention to that because they all pay attention to whatever the big, main headline is about that person or project or whatever. So basically, people are ignoring the dirt, right? They're sweeping it under the rug, thinking, we're in it for the money, so I don't really care about following the rules. Now, I get that, and I respect that, and I've spent a long time doing the exact opposite of that, which is why I understand why people do that. And I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. I personally don't believe in being involved in things that I consider unethical. I don't care what the damn profit margin is. I really don't. I have definitely given up tons of profitability on a number of projects because of ethical issues. And I will not compromise on that. And people will laugh at me and say, you're a marketer. What are you talking about? Marketing is unethical. No, marketing is not unethical. I am an ethical marketer, and in fact, helped write the damn book on it when it comes to internet marketing. Back in literally the 1990s. There is ethical marketing, right? And that is what I practice. And there is unethical marketing. And that's what a lot of other people practice. Ethical marketing actually rules. And unethical marketing is lame, short term. It will not help you in the long run. And it is not the majority of people. And people who think that it's the majority of people are being misled or misinformed, because it is not. Marketing, for the most part, does follow rules, best practices, etc., etc. A lot of it is self-regulated or self-implemented, self-imposed, whatever you want to call it, by companies and by industry associations, by standards and practices groups. But generally speaking, marketing is ruled by ethics and rules. Now, are they loose and fast and loose with that sometimes, or even a lot, or even mostly? Yeah, arguably, right? A lot of brands play fast and loose with the rules because they're looking for the loopholes that they can get away with in order to make, better returns. Okay, but they're still following the rules, one way or the other. Now, when it comes to things like intellectual property or trademark, well, that's a whole different issue. And in fact, the global digital enforcement of intellectual property, right, which isn't perfect by any means and has many shortcomings, and here's an article of it right here on the WIPO website, which if you're not familiar with, you should definitely look at it, wipo.int, right? And they've got all kinds of great information there about the World Intellectual Property Organization and the significance of trademarks and internet domains and e-commerce and everything else. And you cannot, despite what you think, just go out and violate international intellectual property rules with impunity. You can get away with it in many cases, yes. Doesn't make it right or ethical, and eventually that will come back and get you, not in a nice way. And here's the thing. People argue, oh, well, for example, with unstoppable domains. Oh, well, Tim Draper's backing it. He's put $4 million into it. That makes it, he knows what he's talking about. Really? Let me tell you something. In the 1990s, when the Internet Society, or ISOC, wanted to wrest control permanently over internet domain names, specifically top-level domains, .com, .net, .edu, .org, etc., and they wanted to add .biz, .casino, .xx, whatever, .alcohol, all these things, right? Essentially, what they were doing was establishing a basis to extract money from companies that would be required to buy hundreds, if not thousands, of domains per company just to protect their brand and their trademark. And that's called greenmail, or corporate blackmail, where you're trying to extort a company, you're trying to shake them down to take money out of them to buy essentially what are effectively different zip codes, right? Imagine if, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again, imagine if you had to buy a different zip code from DHL, from UPS, from the USPS, from FedEx, from every single carrier that brings you anything, even a local delivery guy on a little scooter, which exists in a lot of countries around the world. I know not so much in the US, but around the world, those kind of delivery people are quite popular services. And what if you have to pay for a different zip code or a different delivery address from every single one? What if your house address had, you had to buy 1,000 different home addresses? That's effectively what that is. And ISOC was prevented from doing that by essentially being forced to accept oversight and the compromise or the agreement that they had to do eventually after our lobbying efforts in the organization where I worked in D.C., with Congress and everything else, was to eventually, ICANN was the compromise. We eventually helped foster the creation of ICANN, the Internet, Coalition for Assigned Numbers, Names and Numbers, right? And it's a group that basically oversees what ISOC used to control. And for many years, and especially at the time when we did it, it was done in a way to protect the trademark owners and the consumer from all this exploitative stuff that would have made the cost of products go up, that would have made the economy of the internet go, not grow, etc., etc. The same exact thing is what I'm seeing with .zil domains. I don't care if you like the project or not. I really don't. And I hope that if you do buy into it, that for goodness sake, you just buy a legitimate domain that doesn't have a trademark issue. And then you're all good to go and wonderful and enjoy it. But the problem is that they continue to this day to have videos up that promote actively by popular YouTubers the use of trademark names. There are literally videos up showing popular YouTubers showing their list of .zil domains, and one of them, has a blatant use. There's the word Disney in one of the domain names. Now, if you own Disney anything .zil or anything Disney.zil, for example, and you're not the Walt Disney Company, good luck trying to keep that. I don't care if it doesn't. Here's the thing. Trademark law trumps technology. Trademark trumps technology. Put that in your head. Trademark trumps technology. Okay? ICANN, right here, we're on the WIPO site. in IP issues related to internet domain names, okay? And they talk right here about ICANN, okay? Why do you think that this page exists on the WIPO site? I didn't make this page. I didn't work for WIPO. But we lobbied successfully and got ICANN to be a thing, and now it's a whole thing, right? It's an entire organization. It's got rules, and they actually manage the business fairly well to protect domains from being used as a form of greenmail. So what makes you think that just because you put the domain on the blockchain, or because Tim Draper has many bags of Bitcoin and he's put $4 million into this thing, what makes you think that gives this technology of unstoppable domains any legal legitimacy whatsoever that cannot be effectively shut down? Let's also keep in mind, there's less than a couple thousand Zilliqa nodes on the planet. How little computer power do you need to 51% that? You need like 1,000 computers? 2,000 to completely own it? Maybe just get 3,000 just to, be sure. Like, okay, you need 1,000. If there's 2,000 now, so yeah, you need 2,000. I think there's only 1,000 something. But anyway, let's just say there's 2,000 of them. So you think the government of the United States can't just set up 5,000 Zilliqa miners and just totally dominate their crypto? For example, right? So the Zilliqa blockchain is not completely 100% defensible. It's too small still, right? So don't think that you can buy a trademark law and that some happy trademark lawyer working for WIPO or some other company that is a member of WIPO or the World Trade Organization, the WTO, right, or any other group that has to do with international law and trademarks, don't think that you can own Disney whatever.zil and not get a knock on your door or an ugly letter that's going to ruin your day. Right? They're not very friendly to people who hold on to trademarks. They go after them because you're violating serious laws. Trademark trumps technology. It doesn't matter if you invent a technology that uses a secret wing-ding, battity-bat, zoobity-boo thingy. I just made those for fun. It doesn't matter what your technology or your mousetrap is. You don't have the right to violate the law using your technology. It's not as if there isn't a law that protects trademark. There is a law. There are laws in many countries and in most jurisdictions around the world. In addition to those laws, there are organizations like WIPO and the WTO and many others whose sole purpose is to protect trademark, commerce, trade, finance, the economy, etc. Do you really think they're just going to allow a couple of guys with a few thousand computers around the world to actually stop trademark law from being enforced? I mean, have you heard of, the United States Armed Forces? The UN Armed Forces? Or Security Peace Forces, Blue Helmets? Have you heard of, the CIA? The FBI? The IRS? All these authorities in America who have global reach, whether you like to believe it or not? They can extend their hand from New York to Indonesia, right? If they want to. They can go into Tokyo. They can go into Europe. They can go into Africa. They can go into South America. There isn't anywhere you can really go to get away from these people. They'll even nail you in Russia. If you don't think that there are people who are capable of extracting people from a foreign country that is hostile to the United States, I have news for you. The US does this all of the time. And I'm not saying it in any conspiratorial way. As a marketer, you must be aware you cannot think that you can just run a business afoul of US law and completely get away with